Question 1. A media streaming company needs to process large volumes of log files stored in S3. Logs should be processed in near real time. The solution should be cost-effective and scalable. Processed data should be stored in S3 and queried using Athena. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. AWS Lambda with S3 event triggers. B. Amazon EMR with Apache Spark. C. AWS Glue with scheduled crawlers. D. Amazon EC2 with a custom log processing script. Correct answer: A. AWS Lambda with S3 event triggers. Explanation: S3 event triggers invoke Lambda whenever new logs arrive. Lambda processes logs and stores the results in S3. Athena can then query the processed logs without provisioning infrastructure. Why not other options? Option B. EMR is powerful but expensive for small-scale, real-time log processing. Option C. AWS Glue is great for ETL but does not provide real-time processing. Option D. EC2 requires server management and is not scalable for unpredictable workloads. Question 2. A pharmaceutical company needs to store terabytes of clinical trial data for 10 years. Data will be accessed once a year for compliance purposes. Minimizing storage costs is critical. Which AWS storage class should be used? Options: A. Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. B. Amazon S3 Standard IA, infrequent access. C. Amazon EFS, with lifecycle management. D. Amazon S3 Intelligent Tiering. Correct answer: A. Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Explanation: S3 Glacier Deep Archive is the cheapest AWS storage option for long-term retention. Designed for data that is rarely accessed but must be stored for compliance. Retrieval times are acceptable since access is needed only once per year. Why not other options? Option B. S3 Standard IA costs more than Glacier Deep Archive for long-term storage. Option C. EFS is for shared file storage, not archival. Option D. Intelligent tiering is for unpredictable access patterns and costs more. Question 3. A gaming company runs a multiplayer game backend on AWS. The backend API needs to handle millions of player requests per second. Database queries must be minimized to reduce latency. A low-latency cache should store frequently accessed game data. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. Amazon ElastiCache for Redis. B. Amazon DynamoDB Accelerator, DAX. C. Amazon RDS with read replicas. D. AWS Global Accelerator. Correct answer: A. Amazon ElastiCache for Redis. Explanation: ElastiCache for Redis provides ultra-low latency caching for frequently accessed data. Ideal for gaming applications where speed is critical. Reduces database load by serving cached responses instead of querying the database. Why not other options? Option B. DAX speeds up DynamoDB queries but is not a general caching solution. Option C. Read replicas improve read performance but do not provide in-memory caching. Option D. Global Accelerator optimizes network traffic but does not cache data. Question 4. A company's on-premises data center needs a secure, highly available connection to AWS. The connection should have automatic failover. It must support multiple AWS regions. Latency should be minimal. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. AWS Direct Connect with VPN backup. B. AWS Site-to-Site VPN only. C. AWS Transit Gateway with VPN. D. VPC peering between on-premises and AWS. Correct answer: A. AWS Direct Connect with VPN backup. Explanation: Direct Connect provides a dedicated, low-latency link between AWS and on-premises data centers. A VPN backup ensures high availability in case Direct Connect fails. Provides automatic failover for seamless connectivity. Why not other options? Option B, VPN alone is not as reliable as Direct Connect for high-performance networking. Option C, Transit Gateway connects VPCs but does not provide a dedicated low-latency link. Option D, VPC peering does not connect on-premises networks to AWS. Question 5. A financial institution is deploying a 3-tier web application on AWS. The web tier, front end, should be publicly accessible. The application tier, back end, should be private and isolated. The database tier should be completely inaccessible except from the application tier. Security and cost optimization are key priorities. Which networking configuration should be used? Options: A. All tiers in a single public subnet with security groups restricting access. B. Web tier in a public subnet, application tier in a private subnet, database tier in a private subnet. C. All tiers in a single private subnet with a bastion host for access. D. Web tier and application tier in a public subnet, database tier in a private subnet. Correct answer: B. Web tier in a public subnet, application tier in a private subnet, database tier in a private subnet. Explanation: the web tier should be in a public subnet to allow internet access. The application tier should be in a private subnet to prevent direct internet exposure. The database tier should be in a private subnet with no direct external access. Best security practice: use NAT gateway for outbound internet access from the private subnet. Why not other options? Option A, putting all tiers in a public subnet is a major security risk. Option C, a single private subnet prevents the web tier from being publicly accessible. Option D, placing the application tier in a public subnet is a security risk. Question 6. A video streaming company transfers large amounts of data between AWS regions daily. Data transfer costs must be minimized. Performance should be optimized. Which AWS service or feature should be used? Options: A. S3 cross-region replication, CRR. B. VPC peering between regions. C. AWS transit gateway with inter-region peering. D. AWS direct connect with multiple links. Correct answer: C. AWS transit gateway with inter-region peering. Explanation: Transit gateway inter-region peering enables cost-efficient and high-performance connectivity between AWS regions. It reduces data transfer costs compared to standard VPC peering. More scalable and supports multiple VPCs. Why not other options? Option A, S3 CRR is for storage replication, not real-time data transfer. Option B, VPC peering between regions is more expensive than transit gateway. Option D, Direct Connect does not optimize inter-region AWS data transfers. Question 7. A data analytics company runs an EC2 fleet to process large datasets overnight. High availability is not critical. The company wants to minimize EC2 costs. Workloads are batch processing jobs. Which EC2 pricing model should be used? Options: A. On-demand instances. B. Reserved instances. C. Spot instances with auto-scaling. D. Dedicated hosts. Correct answer: C. Spot instances with auto-scaling. Explanation: Spot instances offer significant cost savings, up to 90% cheaper than on-demand. Auto-scaling ensures that if some instances are terminated, others are launched automatically. Since batch processing is fault-tolerant, spot instances are ideal. Why not other options? Option A, on-demand is too expensive for batch jobs. Option B, reserved instances require long-term commitments and are better for predictable workloads. Option D, dedicated hosts are meant for compliance-heavy workloads, not cost-saving batch jobs. Question 8. A social media platform wants to process real-time user interactions from millions of users worldwide. Low latency is required. The system should be fully serverless and auto-scale. Data should be analyzed in near real time. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. Amazon Kinesis Data Streams plus AWS Lambda. B. Amazon SQS plus EC2 autoscaling. C. Amazon RDS with read replicas. D. AWS Glue with scheduled jobs. Correct answer, A. Amazon Kinesis data streams plus AWS Lambda. Explanation. Kinesis data streams collects real-time events and ingests data at scale. AWS Lambda processes the data instantly without managing infrastructure. Fully serverless and scales automatically based on workload. Why not other options? Option B, SQS is for message queuing, not real-time data streaming. Option C, RDS is for structured databases, not event-driven real-time processing. Option D, Glue is for batch ETL jobs, not real-time data processing. Question 9. A company's internal applications are hosted in a private VPC. Developers need secure remote access. Access should not require a VPN client. Users should authenticate using corporate credentials. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. AWS Client VPN. B. AWS Private Link. C. AWS IAM Identity Center, SSO, with AWS Verified Access. D. Amazon Workspaces. Correct answer, C. AWS IAM Identity Center, SSO, with AWS Verified Access. Explanation. AWS Verified Access allows secure access to private applications without a VPN. IAM Identity Center enables authentication using corporate credentials. Better security and usability than VPN-based solutions. Why not other options? Option A, Client VPN requires VPN software, which the company wants to avoid. Option B, Private Link is for connecting services within AWS, not for user authentication. Option D, Workspaces is for virtual desktops, not private app access. Question 10. A global e-commerce company runs a website with customers from different continents. The website must be highly available. Latency should be minimized worldwide. Failover should be automatic if a region goes down. Which AWS architecture should be used? Options: A. Deploy EC2 instances in multiple regions with elastic load balancer and Route 53 latency-based routing. B. Deploy EC2 instances in a single region with autoscaling. C. Use AWS Global Accelerator with a single EC2 instance in S East 1. D. Deploy a single EC2 instance behind an application load balancer. Correct answer, A. Deploy EC2 instances in multiple regions with elastic load balancer and Route 53 latency-based routing. Explanation. Multi-region deployment ensures high availability. Route 53 latency-based routing directs users to the lowest latency region. Elastic load balancer distributes traffic within each region. Why not other options? Option B, single region deployment is not resilient to regional failures. Option C, Global Accelerator optimizes network traffic but does not handle failover between regions. Option D, a single EC2 instance is a single point of failure.